Hey folks, Dr. Mike Israetel here for Renaissance Periodization, video number 5 in our Building Your First Program series, building your next program after your first. That's right, it's a bonus video where we teach you how to build your second program, not just your first. So here we go. Where are you at in this point? You've just finished your first productive mesocycle of training. You did your deload. You're fresh and you're ready to kill lions with your bare hands. Those poor lions won't even see you coming. Now it's time for you to use your last program to intelligently and effectively design this next upcoming program so that you can get all of the great results you got from the last one and start to work off of them to get even better results in the future. Pretty straightforward. First question, what exercises are you going to be using? The answer is all the same ones unless you have a good reason to change. There are 3 good reasons to change exercises from one kind of exercise to another exercise that targets the same or similar muscle groups, but is just a different way of moving. Here are the 3 reasons. First, if you've hit like a strength plateau and you're no longer getting stronger on that exercise, even though you're working hard and properly, it's a good idea to maybe change the exercise. So if your squat has sort of peaked out, try the hack squat or something like that. Point number 2, reason number 2 why you would change. The exercise is starting to feel really stale. You're doing multiple sets and multiple reps and you don't really get a good pump, no good connection to your muscle. You don't feel a lot of tension to the target muscle. You just kind of feel tired. And then, maybe it's time to switch to an exercise. And if it's a different exercise, it'll probably feel nice and fresh for quite some time ahead. Lastly, if the exercise is giving you joint and connective tissue pain, like your knees hurt or your elbows hurt, and technique alterations can't fix it, and it's getting worse over time, the more you use that exercise, it's probably a good idea to switch it out. So if close grip bench is really starting to hurt your elbows, you try to widen your grip just a little, you try to flare your elbows, you try to put the bar lower, higher on the chest, and your elbows still hurting more and more and more, stop close grip benching, change to something else. Right? If none of those criteria are met, the exercise is still escalating in strength. It's still feeling good, great mind-muscle connection, so on and so forth. You're getting great pumps. And if there's no joint or connective tissue discomfort or pain, just leave it in. That means you may do the same exercises for years, and that's okay because you learn to do them really well. They're really effective, and there's no reason to change. Right? Similar idea to, every now and again you go out to a restaurant and you have your one big favorite meal that you really like. Someone's like, hey, why don't you order anything else? And you're like, well, I really feel like eating this favorite meal that I always order. And if someone's like, well, why don't you try something else? The real good question to ask them is why? Because if you have something good and dependable, just keep sticking to it. Now, if you get to that restaurant and you're like, I'm not really feeling this meal, then you order something else. But if you're still feeling like, oh my God, I can't wait to eat this awesome burrito I always order, just go for the burrito you always order. It's a sure thing. So that's exercises. Once you've changed or left in the exercises, you have to look at how to restart weight and rep progressions or how many reps and weight to do. So of course, for new exercises, just warm up and find a hard set of 5 to 10 and then follow the progression instructions from video number 3 in the series. Super straightforward. If you're continuing exercises, you can do a little bit better because you have some more precise information. You don't need to warm up raw. What you do is you warm up for a set of 3 to 5 reps with the last hard weeks of training. So if you squatted 135 pounds for a set of, some sets of 5 to 10 in that week 8, and then we did week 9, you deloaded, and now it's week 10 and week 1 of your new program, throw 135 on the bar after a few warm-up sets to get nice and loose, get your technique right. And with 135, do a set of 3 to 5. And that'll be sort of your last heavy warm-up. And then do 135 or so, probably just 135, that weight that you did last time, and try to hit a set of 5 to 10 reps. If you overshoot 10 reps and it's still not hard, next time, just use more load, as video number 3 would instruct. And if you hit between 5 and 10 reps and it's challenging, maybe last time in week 8, you hit 135 for a set of 6, and this time you hit it for a set of 7 or 8, and it's nice and challenging, stop. And then boom, you have your load that you're using. And then next week you can progress. And the progress video is video number 3. Go back and look at that. Same process. A lot of the stuff is really just the same process as your first mesocycle. You just put it right into the second. What about restarting sets? This is a concept that gets a little bit different. A lot of people would say, okay, I did 5 sets of everything, or on average 5 sets per exercise in, the last week of my last mesocycle before deloading. I'll just do 5 now. Well, the thing is, deloading has resensitized you to growth so much and desensitized you to take damage from those exercises so much that if you do 5 sets, you're going to get crushed with soreness and fatigue. You're just not ready for that sort of thing. Deloading detrains you a little bit. So what you should do is fewer. How do you know how few? Well, here's what you do. You just start with 1 set. And after you've done that set in that very session, in that very exercise, you ask yourself, did I get a really good pump and am I pretty fatigued? And if the answer is no to either one of those, you add another set. You just do another set right there and then. Rest 1 or 2 minutes and do another set. And you ask yourself the same question. Do I have a pump and am I fatigued? If 1 or 2, either of those questions gets a yes, stop. Once you get a good pump, stop. Or you get up to doing 3 sets total for an exercise. Even if you still haven't gotten a pump, still haven't gotten fatigue, stop, because you can always add sets later. Sometimes you don't get a good pump, you don't get really fatigued, but if you do more than 3 sets, you get so sore that the amount of damage you're incurring counterbalances how much your body can actually grow muscle, and the damage and growth compete with each other, and you get a whole lot of not much. And it's also really shitty to be like limping around for a week. So do at most 3 sets if you never get pumped or you never get fatigued. Or fewer sets if after 1 or 2 or 3 of the sets, you get some noticeable, okay, I got a decent pump, or, ooh, I'm getting pretty tired with this muscle here, stop. And then the next week, you start again with those set numbers, and then you add according to video number 3's progression model for how to add sets. That's it, super straightforward. When you're doing this, you're going to be adding load and reps, just like video number 3 instructed. You're going to be adding sets, just like video number 3 instructed. And you just follow that same progression for this new mesocycle that you're doing. It's literally the same, and it's that simple. Those several formulas of how to add reps, how to add load, how to add sets, really 3 very easy formulas, will take you the rest of the way through the rest of that mesocycle until you have to take a deload. Same thing. When you take a deload, it's the same process, and then you just restart that again and do your next mesocycle. It's that easy. The cool thing is, people can comfortably do this kind of really simple training and get excellent results for 2 or 3 or more years, for sure. And if they're really loving the training and they feel like they can tolerate more and they want even better results, they can potentially add a day of training in. So it's 2 to 4 days of training is the recommended for beginners. If you started with 2 days of training and after a few months, you're like, man, I can do more, add a 3rd one. Never add 2 at a time, just 1. If you started with 3, you can add a 4th. If you started with 4, potentially you can add a 5th, but I would just milk 4 out for years and years and years because that's as close as you get to optimal for a really long time. And then what? Okay, after multiple years, after your first mesocycle and then after your second, what do you do then? You can just continue to do simple training for multiple years, 2 to 4 times a week, and get super fit and super strong. You can get amazing results. Like if you don't want to put any more complexity into your fitness journey, that's awesome. Tons of us get a ton of things we don't put a ton of complexity into. I get my oil changed every now and again on my car. I get my engine looked at every now and again, regular checkup. But other than that, I'm not like modding my car. I'm not looking for other car deals. I'm not looking to put bigger tires on it. I'm not a car person. You might not be like a workout person, but you want fitness to be a part of your life. 2 to 4 times a week, compound heavy movements progressively over time is all you'll ever need to be in great shape and great health, period. Especially if you take a look at your diet. That's all you really ever need to be in fundamentally really, really good position. There's no need to complicate anything, and there's no need to make things super advanced. Option 2 is after a few years to take your training to the next level. You have to want to do this because it's going to require more work. It's going to be a little bit more requiring of diligence and perseverance and so on and so forth. It's going to elevate your rate of gains versus if you just stuck to the simple, just a little bit. So that little bit has to be worth it for you. If you're going to elevate your game, you're going to need to do probably a little bit more YouTube watching of other channels, potentially including this one, and you might want to get a few books. So let me give you guys some really good recommendations. As for the channels on YouTube to follow to get a little bit more into that intermediate realm, more advanced, there's tons of videos on this channel, Renaissance Periodization, that are targeted exclusively towards intermediate and advanced people. As a matter of fact, our average video at RP is targeted towards the intermediate. So just start consuming more RP content, and you'll be like, oh, wow, like this is actually answering a lot of my questions about how to make things more advanced. Other channels that we highly recommend you take a look at, Juggernaut Training Systems. Great stuff for intermediate and advanced folks, especially strength-oriented stuff. Revive Stronger, Steve Hall's channel, a great channel, lots of basics, lots of interviews to get you guys into the mix of more advanced stuff. Jeff Nippert's channel, excellent stuff, especially for the intermediate and above. Omar Isuf has great stuff. 3D Muscle Journey, 3DMJ has great stuff. Sat Strength, Joey Satmare's channel has amazing stuff. And there are many others. One very notable channel is the Stronger by Science channel, but that has usually more advanced information than intermediate. So I would start with these other channels first. A few months or years after, you feeling really competent, understanding all the ideas, then you can start to follow and watch the videos of a channel like Stronger by Science. As far as books, 2 recommendations. There's many other very good books, but 2 really do stand out. One is The Art and Science of Lifting by Greg Nuckols and Omar Isuf. Great beginner books that really introduce you to all these conceptual ideas so that when you're making your training more advanced than just beginner training, you understand the concepts you're working with. And it's not just following instructions. It really just starts to come from within. The stuff really starts to make sense. Once you've read those books, the next books to move on to are The Muscle and Strength Pyramids by Eric Helms and Annie Morgan, and I have a couple of more co-authors that have contributed. Those are awesome books for that next level. So I would actually start with The Art and Science of Lifting first, and then I would move on to the Muscle and Strength Pyramids. Later, if you want to learn more stuff, a ton of our RP books come in really handy. So Scientific Principles of Strength Training, Scientific Principles of Hypertrophy Training, the RP Diet book, that's all more advanced stuff, a bit more of advanced audience. So once you've gotten through this basic stuff, which by the way, you don't make any money from this stuff, you can get into, right? Not that there's anything wrong with making money, which brings me to my next point. What do you do for continued success? Work hard. There's never a time in which this is going to get easy, but there's also never a time in which it's not going to cause results. As soon as it gets easy, it won't be causing you any more results. So never abandon that. Always be dedicated to hard work. Always expect it, and then good things will happen. Point number 2. Psychologically, it's really good for beginners and everyone above to compare themselves to their previous best. You know, you're the man in the mirror is the person you're at war with, not other people or less other people. It's cool to look at other people for inspiration, but probably not a great thing to compare because they have different genetics, lifestyle, they may be using different supplements, so on and so forth. So really try to compare yourself to yourself, and that way you'll find a lot of really rewarding personal growth, and of course, size and strength increases. Be proud of your accomplishments. Okay, the first time you squat or bench press or deadlift like 225 pounds, 2 plates on a side, or even a plate on a side or something like that, you fucking did it. You know, you've come a long way. Shake your own hand. I don't even know how you do that. Like, try to hit the mirror and you end up hitting the mirror. Do your best and really be proud of what you're doing, because some people, they look so much at what others are doing that they can't be proud of themselves. You know, you have maybe squatted 225 pounds, 2 plates on a side for the first time ever for a set of 5 to 10. And then you look at someone else, even in the gym, or someone on YouTube that you follow that's doing 315 in the overhead press for multiple reps. You probably won't see that at a gym, but you know, maybe someone's squatting that. And you think like, how am I supposed to be proud of myself when there's other people doing those incredible things? Well, you might have been proud of yourself when you graduated college, but a fuck ton of people have done that. You might have been proud of yourself when you were really nice to a significant other and you're like, man, I do a really good thing. Like I helped an old lady across the street. You should be proud of yourself for that, but people help old ladies across the street all the time. You don't have to be the greatest fucking person of all time to cut yourself some slack. And if you never cut yourself any slack, you probably just never be all that happy. And a lot of life is about happiness, so maybe you're missing something there. And lastly, and I'll come back to the last thing actually. So second to last, enjoy the process. Enjoy the process. This is all for entertainment after all, and health and wellness is really important, but this should be fun and it should be rewarding. And once you get your new superpowers, use them for good, maybe occasionally evil, but cool evil, not scummy evil. And lastly, take all of this education you've gotten and all this passion and use it to buy RP things that we sell. God damn it, folks, I need a Ferrari. I'm tired of buying Lamborghinis. I'm on my 10th Lamborghini. I have all 10 of them at the same time. They're different colors, different models. I need something new. I like that little horse bouncy logo thing the Ferrari has. I want a Ferrari, and probably not one. The only way I get that kind of money, if you guys click on our website and buy stuff, and enjoy the lifting journey. See you guys next time.